Well, hello everybody. It's Bill here, and you are watching Late Night on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. And looks like we have a few people in the house tonight. Let's catch up on the chat here and see who all is here. Bjorn Jorgensen is here. Good to see you, Head Wrench. Good to see you, figuratively speaking. Stopped in, said hello, hello. And he says, finally made it first in the chat. I think Bjorn got you beat there, bub. And Epic Badger is here. We'll see him in just a few minutes. He's going to be on the show with me tonight. Johnny Sorensen's going to go get some lunch instead of watching today, but he can watch the replay. Sue Studio is here. And Sue Studio says this should be really interesting after last week's movie. Yes, it will be. Indeed, said I. And then my friend Michael Purvis came in. Hey, Bill and Chet, he says, good to see you. No, I am not going to be showing sex education this week. So there you go. And Michael says he thinks some people need to see those. Some. There are a few that maybe need to see that. Mm-hmm. Yep. And OBS is here. Good to see you, OBS. And you're welcome, my dear. I hope you enjoyed the little present that Paula and I sent you. Shaitan's Hammer says hello. And of course, Michael's off on Sunday, so he can watch. Good deal. And Sue Studio says I was subjected to those movies in the 5th grade, so I don't need to see them again. Yeah, but they're not just for you. They're like the keeping clean. They're for some of the people that we know that may need to. I'm sure nobody in here needs them, but I'm talking about the people who may be watching that don't know how to wash themselves and use soap. They may need to watch stuff like that. You never know. And Bjorn's watching the WrestleMania in the background, and WrestleMania is on tonight, folks. So a lot of folks watching that. I know my buddy Sir Clifton, he's busy watching that, so we'll see. And Manic wanted to know how Susudio's dad is doing, and he said he's doing good. Very good, Susudio. We're glad to hear that your dad is doing good. Yes. See, Bjorn says the main event of night 1 is about to come on. Okay, cool. Studio says I wanted to see WrestleMania, but it's too damned expensive. Well, there are other ways to see it. And I think that gets us about caught up. And Bjorn says all you need now is Peacock to see it. Okay, is Peacock free or is it cost? You never know. All right. Real quick, I want to shout out my Patreons. These people keep the lights on here. Grindhead Jim Largo, Pope, Rolo at Masters Maniac Mexico, Will McLaughlin. He's our friend over at Wilhelm Toy and Hobby. Bjorn Jorgensen, who's in the chat tonight. Head Wrench. Johnny Sorensen, Ocean Breeze Salty, Sir Clifton, Gojatron, Melvor, and Chris Tremblett. Thank you all. Thank you all for helping to support this channel. And now, let me go ahead and turn the chat overlays off for right now. And let me bring in my special guest co-host tonight, and that will be Jesse Hughes, also known as the Epic Badger. Hello, Jesse. How's it going there, man?
Doing all right. How are you, Bill?
I'm doing well. We'll see if my internet cooperates with me tonight. I had a shit show on Sunday, and it was horrible. I didn't realize how bad it was until I watched the restream of it. I always watch my restreams. And I was like, this is unwatchable. I did not realize that my internet was cutting up as bad as it was. But it wasn't really the internet that was doing it. I think it was my cams that were doing it. I had to go in and reload some software for the Epicam. It seems like that they upgraded their driver that goes on Windows. And I was out of sync. I kept cutting in and out, and I didn't realize how bad that was. It was pretty tough. Let's see what the chat's doing here. Okay, all right. Whenever you get it sent is fine, man. There's no rush on that. Shaitan's Hammer says, trying to find the best Iron Man or Captain America, leaning towards Model 70. Do you know what he's talking about there, Jess?
I do not.
All right. Susudio says, let's get ready to rumble. I miss Michael Buffer. He doesn't do that much anymore. I don't see him out and about. Have you seen Michael Buffer do anything here recently? No.
Nope.
Okay.
Hey Bjorn. Hope your internet's doing better now.
Yeah. And Manic Plastic says you sound great, Bill, so far. Well, that's good. I hope my audio stays in sync. Sometimes the cameras tend to get out of sync with my voice because the camera is actually on Wi-Fi because it's actually an iPhone. So I'm using some software to do that. But this looks a lot better than I'll show you what I look like on my main cam. This.
Yeah.
So, I want to have a decent picture, so that's kind of how I do things here. So what you been up to, Jess? Tell us.
Not a lot. I'm busy with work. It's kind of a busy season for me.
Okay.
I work in
what
education.
kind of work do you do? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I work in education. I work in a college setting where I'm a compliance officer for immigration. So I help bring international students to the United States and make sure that they follow the many rules and that they don't break them. And to their credit, because they work so hard to get these visas, they don't break the rules because it's not worth the price. So it's a good group of kids. It's just, trying to help them with culture adjustment and visas and regulations and making sure as a university we're complying with all the federal regulations so we're allowed to keep having students because it is a privilege. Not any school can just bring international students. You have to be certified.
That's interesting. I worked in education for a long period of time, and there's some perks to working in education. Do you get all those holidays?
We get all the federal holidays. And then every university is different. They can decide if they want additional days. Mm-hmm. So like we got this Friday off because it was spring break. We still worked Monday through Thursday while the students were off, but the university was still open because we still have to take care of business and make sure admissions, and because we work closely with admissions and other offices. But we got Friday off, which is why when you asked me, are you able to come on tonight? I was like, well, I have work in the morning because I've been off for 2 days. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, I have work tomorrow. And then you're like, it's Sunday.
It was Sunday, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can sleep in.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing, man. It's not nice having a 3-day weekend every once in a while. And Shaden's Hammer says Model 70 is the Alex Ross designs.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Oh, I was just going to address the chat here real quick. I'm sure everybody's kind of wondering where Largo is and why the logo has changed. Largo will be back occasionally as a guest. He is no longer co-hosting the show because he is full-time, has his own channel, and he is doing great over there, doing wonderful things. He's had many guests on. I believe you were on here recently with Largo on Largo's Lounge.
I'll be on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know he's done some work with several of our community here, bringing people in as guests on his show, and so he's so busy he just can't come over and do this now. Well, he's going to come back at some point in the future. I'm hoping it's going to be next week or a week after, and we're going to do another spotlight. This time it's going to be on Zorro. And he was telling me the last time I chatted with him about that he kind of went down a rabbit hole and there's a lot to Zorro that I didn't even know. Did you know that he was based upon a real character in history?
I have a general inkling about what that is, but I don't know the history of it.
I don't either.
I'd have to watch the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see what he digs up. Now, the thing is, he he got so deep into the real character that he's going to do a special over on his channel about that particular character.
Hmm.
So a real person who operated at that time, and I would be interesting to see, because I think a reality sometimes is better than fiction in some of those instances. Hey, Gap After Dark, it's good to see you. And yeah, I love the spotlights too, and I'm going to try to do some myself, but mine are not going to be nearly as nice as Largo's, because he uses Canva, which I do not, and he has become an expert at using that, and he's also got skills as a presenter that I just don't have, and but I'll continue to try to work with that. I've been contacting a gentleman who I know sort of, but his name is Jim Keefe, and he was the last artist and writer on the comic strip Flash Gordon when it was actually being produced by King Features. I'm going to try to get him to come on the show with me, but I need to get an email out to him. I tried to contact him through a DM, and he responded, but he said I needed to email him, so that's promising. So we'll see. And Joneser's in the house. Hey, Joneser, man. Hit me up on Instagram, Joneser, if you want to hop in the show tonight. I'll be glad to let you come on. And
Joneser, actually, I need to get in touch with him because he won a raffle when we were raising money for Rolo, and I have one of his items, so I need to get his address. Oh, I think you froze. Am I frozen? Am I about to be the only one on here? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, my aunt will do this to me every once in a while, so you guys got to be patient with me, especially when I'm by myself. It helps when I'm having Jess on. If I do that, Jess, you just keep on going because they can hear you. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that Joneser caught all of what you said. I caught very little of it.
Yeah, I have an item for that he won during a raffle.
Okay, cool. The different kinds. Am I back?
You seem back.
Okay. Yeah. I try to put weird content, strange and idiotic stuff on late night, toy stuff on Sunday mornings. Sunday noon on my Sunday show. And let's see, all good, Bill. It's fun, and yeah, and I do that occasionally. Part of it is my internet connection. At best, I get one gig upload, and that's the barest minimum you need to live stream on YouTube. So whenever my connection jitters and I go down below that, I can freeze up a little bit, and maybe someday I can get something better than that going on. Just kind of wandering through the chat. You can just speak up anytime you want. I'm trying to not to talk over you.
I was looking at Gojitron's comment. This ain't gonna work unless Badger gets a rooster. Just kidding.
Oh well, we can do roosters.
I don't got rooster, but I got Badger.
He's got the Badger. I can bring the rooster on. He's walking across the screen now, but we can always bring the rooster up if we have to. Hide the current comment here. Let's go on down. Robot voice. Yeah, I tend to when I stutter when I freeze up like that. Got to get up early tomorrow. Good night, fellas. All right, Bjorn. Well, you take it easy, man. So the majestic one is leaving the room, so everybody act nice and good. Yeah. Just kidding. Good evening. Hey, Goji, you just got through doing a premiere. I promise I'm going to watch that, but I was busy doing pre-show work.
Yeah, I saw it this morning. It was really good, the premiere, and he showed off a toy from an old cartoon called Pirates of Dark Water,
Yeah, I remember that.
and I was like, I hadn't thought about that cartoon in maybe 15, 20 years.
Mm. Well, yeah, that's an oldie. I kind of vaguely remember that. I never actually watched it, but I remember when it was on. Were there any toys made of that?
Yeah, well, yeah, he shows off one of them. I remember vaguely a small line of like maybe three or four, but I could be mistaken. Goji would know more than me.
Oh, of course, Goji knows it all.
And that was a line for me when I was a kid, but it was a line I didn't watch the cartoon as a kid, so I had no idea what it was.
The icon is here, so good night, Bjorn. Okay, all right. Well, I learned a lesson last week, Jesse. I don't know if
Oh,
you watched. I don't know if you watched late night last week. I had Sir Clifton on, and I made a huge error. Uh, my it wasn't the fact that it was a sex education video. Okay, I usually show a short on here, and that's usually the highlight of the show. But I showed it first, which is probably what I shouldn't have done because everybody was kind of speechless, and you kind of can't follow that up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna show the short that's gonna teach you guys how to date. That's those of you who don't have a wife. Well, some of you idiots may be dating still, even though you have a wife. So this may help you as well. So we'll show that. But I've got a couple of goodies that I picked up. One of them is for OBS. Uh, I think she may have already seen this, and it is on my Patreon, so that you guys can, if you're Patreons of mine, you can watch this whenever you want to. But I'm not going to post this on my page. I've got a version of this on here that's not quite as good as this, and I've got a video that's going to premiere this coming week. Gojatron sent me some gifts, and I don't know if you were there for that. I think you were, Jesse, weren't you? No, you weren't, were you? You're not a
was
patron
I?
of mine.
I don't remember. The last week is like a void in my brain.
Yeah.
I think with work, I was just
Well, it's been
forgot.
a couple of weeks ago. We all got together on my Patreon,
Oh,
and we opened Gojatron's gifts together with Gojatron present. But I've cut that together into something that's short and sweet that I can post on the page, and I'm gonna post that up this coming week at some point, probably on Wednesday or something like that. Probably Wednesday afternoon around 4 or 5 o'clock. I'll put that up there. I don't know if I'm going to do a premiere or just put it up there. I think I'm just going to put it up there this time because premieres, you get one or two people. And I think the last premiere I did, OBS kind of showed up and she and I chatted a little bit, but there wasn't anybody else there, and everybody watched it later. And I can understand that. I mean, that's understandable. Uh, so what have you been doing over on your channel there, Jess? I know you've got a channel going on over there, and you've been doing a few things. Are you going to be doing something tomorrow?
I have a premiere set for like 9:30, and I'm in Mountain Time, so yeah, 10, 11:30 Eastern. You're Central or you're Eastern? I can't remember.
Me, I'm Central.
Okay,
I probably should post all my times in Eastern time because that seems to be what everybody goes by. It seems like, but
that's what I started doing. I'll post Mountain and then slash and then Eastern, and it kind of covers. If you're in Central, you can figure out where you fit in that middle.
right.
But with my channel, I don't have a plan. I'm not really looking to run a channel or to be active, especially as we're getting out of the winter in the Rockies and we're about to go into summer. I want to be
Hmm.
outside. So
So
I'm just posting. I'm just
what's
posting videos of hikes and baking and stuff that I've done.
just out of curiosity, what's summertime like in the Rockies? Is it warm
Oh,
or
it's
cold or?
gorgeous. We don't get super hot. Like you might crack 100 in like maybe late July, but
Mm-hmm.
usually it's like 80s to 90s are the warm days. Everything is green. Like I argue it's one of the most beautiful places in the United States is up in, Colorado, Wyoming, that part. Probably Montana too if you go up that far north, but it's just gorgeous. All the snow starts to melt in May and June. Rivers are full, lakes are full. We have so much hiking up here, trails everywhere. You just
Sounds
want to get
like.
out. Yeah, it's so beautiful. So, and it's a perfect time for going on hikes, perfect time for barbecuing and grilling.
Well, if I ever
I
actually get retired where I can actually move around and do some things here in this fine, wonderful nation that we live in, I might try to get out there sometime. I've always wanted to visit the Rockies.
Oh yeah, I mean, just get yourself a little camper, a teardrop shell to hook up to the back of your car, and you could
Mhm.
cruise through Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, all that beautiful country because we have so much of it. It's hours and hours of driving, and every hour you just get something new to view.
LBS here, Rocky Mountain High, Colorado, John Denver. Yeah, I remember John Denver back in the day. He was big on the his home state there. Okay, we're about 30 minutes in. I figure we're ready for our first short of the night. Like I said, the how to date one we're gonna do it a little later. Uh, that's probably one of the last short of the night will be the dating one because I don't want to ruin things. I've got a couple of ones here. I got Drunken Sailor, and I've got something that I picked up from Robot Chicken. It's called Godzilla Training Day. So, which one would you like to see first, there, Jess?
Well, obviously anything with Godzilla.
All right,
I'm a major fanboy of his.
all right, here we go. Oh, that was an oldie but goodie. I figured you guys would enjoy that. Yeah. The Badger has chosen wisely. Absolutely. All right. So that's our first funny for the night. So I figured you guys would enjoy that. What'd you think of that short there, Jess? Have you seen that before?
I do remember seeing that before. I've still never seen the movie it's referencing. I think it's Training Day.
Training Day. It
Yeah.
absolutely is. Yeah,
I,
yeah. You
I,
got
I
to.
get the gist of what it's about, but I just remember watching it. I was like, it's Godzilla, and then that plays before me, and I'm like, what did I just witness? Wasn't that his son?
Yeah.
Like, wasn't that little
That
Godzilla?
well, yeah, that I think that was the Manila or Manila, ever how you want to pronounce that. Both pronunciations are correct, by the way. But yeah, I think that was Manila that they used for the training, the trainee there
I
who was
shouldn't be
being trained
giggling
by
at
badass Godzilla.
I shouldn't be giggling at Kong, but it's just like what a great way to end that segment.
Yeah, it was hilarious. All right, moving right along. We know Largo's not going to be here any longer, so I would like to have a co-host on here. Now I'm opening this up to anybody who wants to do this. If you do, Jess, just let me know. But I know you're busy, so it's probably not going to be a thing to do. But you never know. Joneser, you got an invite for this as well. But I like to have somebody to bounce off of, especially when I freeze, so they can at least talk to people and let them know that hey, Bill's going to be back. He's just froze for a minute. And someday maybe my internet connection will be better. I'm going to be doing Sundays by myself probably. And I'm trying to get the shows down to about an hour. One of the things that Largo and I had done was limit the show to 2 hours, but I'm going to try to limit it down to an hour. There's no need to go beyond an hour, I don't think, on a live stream. And we'll try to keep the late night show kind of what I'm doing right now. Get somebody on and we'll chat a little bit, have some coffee, and just kind of unwind basically, and watch some funny stuff. So, have you made any purchases here lately from toy wise?
Yeah, actually a couple in front of me. So I picked myself up a. If you're familiar with Final Faction, do you collect that line?
I do not. I know Will does. I know our buddy Grindhead Jim. He got
Yeah.
roped into that. He was really big into that. No, I have to limit my purchases, especially considering some of the things that I
Yep, you're fading out. So until you get back, so I don't collect the line either, but I did collect
time
one figure from it.
spent here.
Oh, you're back.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I was
but I
saying.
do have.
Go ahead.
Oh, I have one figure from the line because I don't collect it myself, but I picked up a Churro, the robot dog, and I didn't know what to do with
Oh, yeah.
him until I picked up a couple of these Tiger Force Recondos from Target because they were on clearance for $11. All I really wanted was the hat.
Right. I do that too.
So
I'll buy a figure I could care less about accessories with it.
so I have a head swap for one of my Steel Brigades, and now I got a buddy team. Oh, I think you're froze
cool.
again. But yeah,
Okay.
I figured I have a little stalker, and now I got her a little buddy to go with it because everyone's gotta have a canine.
Oh, there you go. See OBS and my cat Oski, he will not leave me alone. He literally grabs at the plate with his paw, so I have to share. Well, that's what cats do. Now, did you know that male cats are more affectionate than female cats, especially
I
after they've
did
been
not,
neutered?
but I'm also not really a big fan of cats.
Mm.
I like them, I tolerate them, but I'm very much a dog person.
Yeah, yeah. Most men are dog people. I like dogs too because they're very loyal, but they require much more attention than cats do, and I don't have the time to give a dog the attention it needs. But cats serve a purpose in my household. They keep the rodents out, even if they're worthless like mine is, who probably wouldn't catch the rat or the mouse, but the rodent smell the cat living there, and they say, well, maybe we don't need to go in there. My wife's cats are evil. Okay, there, Jones.
I've had bad luck with cats. I mean, growing up, I had this cat that just it didn't like me. And I
Mhm.
remember first day of I think it was 6th grade, I was sitting on the couch and it came up on my lap and I was petting it. I was wearing a short sleeve shirt and it just decided from here down, it left 3 lines. And I had to go
Uh-huh.
to my first day of 6th grade with these 3 lines all the way down my arm.
Uh-huh. Well, I've got a cat, and believe it or not, he I think he likes me more than he likes my wife. They tend to get one person in the house, and that's the one that they latch on to, and they'll tolerate everybody else. But he's still bad. He likes to play, but he doesn't know how to play right. He's gotten better as he's gotten older. But when he was younger, he liked to play seek and destroy with your feet and your arms. You know, if you're on the couch and you put your arm on the wrist and he's down there on the floor, he'll jump up and get your arm, and then run off. And I remember I had to go to a new job here about 2 years ago, and he had bit my arm right here where the tattoo is,
Mm.
and I had two fang prints right there where the tattoo is when I went to my first day on the job. It was kind of embarrassing. But yeah, that's kind of what you. Oh, here we go. My wife swears they love her. They probably do. They don't like you. That's why they're so evil.
Yeah,
It,
I love dogs so much that classified they have a Timber the Wolf,
mm-hmm.
and I got my one of those timbers painted like the dog that I don't have anymore. But
Oh, that is cool.
yeah, if you
Let me
know
bring
Dave,
you up full so you can show that to everybody.
so if you know Dave Wonder, he's on YouTube and he does a lot of customs. But he was generous enough to do because I told him I don't have my dog anymore. So I sent him a timber and for free he painted her up to look like my dog.
That is so neat.
So now I got her up on the shelf, hanging out with my Joes.
That's
And
cool as
he did an
hell.
amazing job. He got like literally every little spot on her.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool there, Jess. Pretty cool. Now, Joneser brings up a pretty good point. I remind her that the cats would eat her before her body was cold. And yeah, he's right about that. I've often told my wife, I said, I told her one time, I said, you know, that if we were as small as mice, that he would probably kill us.
Our cats always had a habit of just taking off
Hmm.
and just they disappear. Maybe they got caught by coyotes or something, but they always just left. And at some point we were like, our dogs don't do that. Let's just keep dogs.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you about coyotes. We have them here too. They coyotes in Mississippi though tend to be just nasty little creatures. They usually are ravenous and hungry and starving to death and usually have the mange or something. But they run in packs and they're mean. And if you live in the country where there's some coyotes around, you have to be careful with your pets. If you let your dog out, coyotes, what they'll do is they'll send one coyote out and he'll bounce around and the dog will think, okay, it's another dog, I can go play. And he'll go play with the coyote and the coyote will play with him, right? And as he's playing with him, he'll lead him back into the woods where the rest of the pack are. And as soon as he gets them in there, they'll all jump on him and attack him, kill him.
We
Mean,
didn't see too
mean.
many coyotes in Laramie because in Wyoming there are certain critters that are they're you get the license for it, but basically you can hunt them year round. Um, and coyotes are classified under that. So people, out in the country around us, because Wyoming is mostly agriculture, lots of cattle and such. So they exist out there, just not very much because it's kind of like a bad area for them around Laramie because all the ranchers would just shoot them on sight because you can do it year round with them. But you
Hmm.
go further out into the hills, that's where you see your coyotes and your mountain lions.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, we've got quite a bit of wildlife that lives in what little wilderness is left around here, and we don't have mountain lions, but we have big cats, bobcats, and
Yeah.
panthers.
Hmm.
And if you've ever heard a panther's cry, it sounds like a woman screaming in the night, and they also make the sounds like a baby.
What's the difference between when you say a panther? Because I'm thinking like big cat like creature from like Central South America.
They're big cats. They're a little bit smaller than a mountain lion, but they're 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 big.
Hmm.
Uh, and you can hear them. They'll scream in the night, and it sounds just like a woman screaming.
No, I've
I
had
hear
the
you over there, Joneser. Joneser admitted that when nobody's looking, he allows the cats to sit in his lap. Okay,
no, I've had the
and
unfortunate displeasure of coming across a mountain lion in the wild, and it's not a good place to be in. When fortunately I had three friends with me, but if I were by myself, that wouldn't have been a good afternoon.
yeah, and here you go. Coyotes are especially nasty when they get those shipments from Acme. No, they can be, but the thing about the shipments from Acme are always defective, and it always ends up backfiring on the coyotes, I think.
See, I don't think he's buying from like Acme's general store. I think he's buying from like their secondhand store, like the products they get back and they put it on like this part of the website. I think that's where he buys all the products.
You might be right about that.
Like everything that's been returned to them, they put it up on this other site.
Yeah, the second site. He probably is. All that stuff has been already used and it's already defective to begin with. He might be on to something there.
Saves a little money, but now I'll tell you what's, people are afraid of coyotes. If you haven't been face to face with a roadrunner, they tend to ignore you, except when they get on your car. And my friend had the unfortunate afternoon of having one jump at her.
Really?
And those claws are huge, and they'll jump off and float and like throw their claws, and she almost got scratched up by one.
Weird. I have seen pictures of real road runners, but I've never been around them. I thought they were about this big. I don't know. Are they bigger than that?
They're bigger than chickens. They're like, I would say a goose type of size.
About a goose size. Well, that's a pretty good sized little creature. Geese are mean. Have you ever been around geese?
I mean, we have tons here, especially closer to winter because they stay up here, but they tend to ignore us. I haven't had any incidents with them.
Oh, OBS says she loved the coyote and felt sorry for him and wondered why he didn't just order his food out. Because he was poor and didn't have any money. He lived in a cave. Have you ever seen the one where he finds a tin can out on the road and he just grabs it and puts it in his mouth and starts chewing on it? Let's see, Michael Purvis has had a cat since 2017.
I'll tell you what, we have a lot of out here, because I live near a canal, is we have a lot of ducks. A lot of ducks. And every time I see them, people will walk by and be like, oh, they're so cute. And I'm just thinking, there's a really good place down the road to get duck. And I might want to go get some tonight.
Yeah, geese will chase you. They're mean, awful things. And they'll hiss at you. Yep. At his Acme, he did spend his money on that junk. My favorite one was when he bought the Acme Batman costume worn by real bats. All right. So we're gonna watch another short. You ready, Jess?
Yeah.
I'm doing this for OBS's benefit. I don't know if she's seen this yet or not, but I recut the Drunken Sailor one so that it was a little better. And I also added our violinist that I did, Mia Asano, based upon the real Mia Asano. So we've got Allie the Piper and Mia Asano in this. And, of course, Tila and Fisto doing the singing. Here we go. Drunken Sailor.
Ready? 2, 3. What do we do with a drunken sailor? What do we do with a drunken sailor? What do we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Early in the morning. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Early in the morning.
Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Early in the morning.
Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Early in the morning. Put him in a longboat till it's over. Put him in a longboat till it's over. Put him in a longboat till it's over. Early in the morning. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Early in the morning. Way, hey, drunken sailor.
Sailor, that's what we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning.
Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises early in the morning.
How'd you like that there, Jess?
That was great. I hadn't seen that one before. I saw I think one of your earlier ones. Yeah, how long did that take you to put together?
That one there was the final cut that I did that I promised my patrons that I put up for patrons only. And I'll show it on here every once in a while, but I'm gonna leave the other one up because it gets views, and I don't want to have people. YouTube doesn't allow you to replace videos that you've already put up. You have to put up a new video and either private the other one or leave it on there. So I don't generally do that anymore. Where did I get the violin? OBS wants to know. Underground Toys, or I think it was the name of the company, or they did a Sherlock Holmes figure of Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock Holmes, and it came with the little violin. And I had that figure for a while. And I stole its violin and gave it to Mia Asano. And never would have thought pirates would have treated drunks so harshly. Well, the thing is, pirates would be drunk when they were off the ship and had leave on shore, or after they had gotten through ravaging the town, they would get drunk. But when they were on the high seas, you had to be sharp when you were on the high seas. And if you were drunk, then you weren't able to do your job. Then somebody else had to do your job for you, and they already had a job to do, so it wasn't good to get drunk. And I noticed that Joneser had referenced the line, stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe on him. You said scabbard, it's scupper. The scupper is a drain port on the ship because, if water comes on board the ship, it's got to be drained back off into the ocean. Well, you stuff the drunk in that and you take a hose pipe and you start watering his ass down with that cold ass seawater, and that might undrunken him, if you get my drift, kind of sober his butt up.
Well, you would imagine too, you wouldn't be paid on the seas. You'd be paid when you get to port. So these fellas would probably spend their money that they just got that night before out on the town, and that's why they're probably drunk.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know much about pirates, but we learned a lot of history up here about like frontiersmen and trappers and miners, especially miners. And that was traditionally stories. They're really clean on the job, and then as soon as they get off the job and get their first paycheck, they're just there goes all the cash.
That's kind of the way it works. They make a lot of money up there, but they tend to spend all of that money after they get it. If catch my drift.
If the company store doesn't take it all first.
Yeah, well, that's from the old Tennessee Ernie Ford song. I sold my soul to the company store. You ever heard that song?
Yeah. Unfortunately, company stores are very common out here in the West, especially working on the railroad and working for mining companies. You have to buy it. Yeah, the only place you could buy anything was whatever the logging company or the mining company would offer you.
What they did, it was kind of insidious. They didn't pay their workers with real money. They paid them with what was called scrip.
Mm-hmm.
Scrip wasn't you couldn't buy anything with it anywhere except at the company store, where the prices were always jacked up really high.
Yeah, and it was the only store for many of these places.
Yeah.
I mean, companies would found the entire town.
There was he's talking about 3 books on Golden Age piracy. There was a documentary that I saw here several years ago. I forget, I probably on Discovery Channel or something about pirates, and it was like a three 3 or 4 night long little thing, and it might have been on Netflix. I can't remember, but it was pretty informative about how they lived. Hard to separate fact from fiction. Well, it is, because we only have what historical records that we have, and some of that stuff was inflated. All right. Well, Jess, we're going to get ready to stop the show here in a minute with our last little short. Are you ready for it?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
All right. Now this one is a little longer than normal, so I had to use the TV here. So I'm going to leave my mic on. If you'll mute yours and remember that it's muted, I'm going to bring myself up full screen. I'll leave you in the background. If you want to unmute yourself, you can. If you have anything that you want to say over this, please do, because these things are meant to be lampooned. All right.
Sounds good.
Yes, Mom, I've got it. What's that? Oh, yes. The ticket he told. Well, what he has to. Here's the latest on my broken ankle. Doc says I'll be all right, only I have to stay off my feet for a week or so. Anyway, here's the ticket for the High Teen Carnival. It's too late to turn it in, so you have yourself a time and tell me all about it. One couple. That means a date. Not like just going around with the crowd. Just me and the girl. Well, that's all right. Only, what girl? Who?
How do you choose a date? Whose company would you enjoy? Well, one thing you can consider is looks.
Yeah, let's be
Woody
shallow.
thought of Janet and how good looking she was. He'd really have to rate to date somebody like her.
Yeah. You ain't going to get her.
Yes, he'd enjoy that. Except, well, it's too bad Janet's always acts so superior and bored. She'd make a fellow feel awkward and inferior. Well, perhaps someone who doesn't feel superior. They're Betty. It doesn't seem as if she's much fun. What about Anne? She knows how to have a good time and how to make the fellow with her relax, have fun too. Yes, that's what a boy likes. He wants to know he's appreciated. Anne would be fun on a date. So Woody decided he'd ask Anne for this first date. But just how should he ask her? And what if she refused? No, it won't be easy asking for that first date.
Well, Woody, hi. Hi, Ed. What you doing? Hey, don't worry too hard. This private? Stick around if you like.
Well, hello, Edward. I thought I heard you come in.
Hi, Mom. What's for supper? Oh, Mom, is it all right with you if I have a date Saturday night?
Well, of course, you generally go out on Saturdays.
Hello, may I speak to Mary, please? But, Mom, this is different. A date. I haven't asked her yet, but I'd like to take Aunt Davis to the High Teen Carnival.
Oh, Anne's a nice girl, but a date? Well, you're rather young.
Oh, Mom, give him a break.
I think he can swing it. We all have to start sometime.
Well, if you don't overdo on dating, Ed knows what I mean. Weekends only and not too late.
Hey, Mary. I just called up to check on the night. I think I can get by a little earlier than usual. How's 7:30? All right, Mary. Bye now.
Boy, you sure make it sound easy. How do you do it?
Practice, my boy. Experience.
But I don't think I'll know what to say, what to talk about.
Now, don't worry about that. Just be your natural, talkative old self. Come on, let's see what's for supper.
Wait a second. Oh, Mom, is the floor dry yet?
Yes, you can come in.
Oh, here we go.
Hello, Mrs. Davis. This is Woody. Alan Woodruff. May I speak to Ann?
How do you ask things? What about this?
Ann? Well, how about a date? Well,
Well, really, no thanks, Woody.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, suppose he did it this way.
Ann? What you doing Saturday night?
Well, I guess I'm busy.
Oh, yeah? Any chance of giving him the brush up for me?
Oh, no.
Well, is there another?
Ann? This is Woody. Well, I have a ticket for the High Teen Carnival Saturday, and, well, would you like to go?
Woody. I'll have to talk to my folks about it, but I think I can go. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, shall I pick you up about 8 o'clock?
That's fine, Woody. 8 o'clock Saturday. I think it'll be all right, but I'll let you know for sure. Bye. A date with Woody. Saturday. Come in. Hi, Ann. Hi, Judy. What are you doing? Why aren't you being Krista's little sister? I'm getting ready for my date tonight with Woody. Oh, he's nice. A date, huh? What'll you do? Go to some fancy place for dinner? No, silly. We're going to the High Teen Carnival, and then he'll bring me home. Oh, that doesn't sound like much. Why, we'd have fun at the carnival, you and I, wouldn't we? Oh, yes. Well, Woody and I are going to have fun in just that way. I think the important thing about a date is to have a good time. And you don't need to spend a lot of money to do that. You just enjoy whatever you're doing. Whether it's movies or parties or anything. And you leave your boyfriend enough money so he'll ask you again. My, you'll be out late. Why not particularly late? Mom and Dad and I have an agreement about what time to come in. Look, Phoebe, how do you get my stockings from the bathroom? Sure.
Mom, do we have any cleaning fluid? There's a spot on my coat.
Goodness, you know we have some. Oh, here, let me.
No, that's it, son. Look your best. Your first date is mighty important. Yeah.
Dad, were you excited the night of your first date?
I sure was.
So was I. I took my date seriously. A date was a major
Good Lord,
event.
how old are his
When the night of my
parents?
first date, my date had a flat tire and he was an hour late. And he didn't even bother to call me. Well, when he finally came, I had to run upstairs and do my face and my hair all over again. Oh, I was so upset.
That fella had a lot to learn about girls. Your mother lost all interest in him after she met me. Same
boy. Find a music bell.
Oh, I hardly think so. I'm thinking of these to marry because it's a special occasion. Of course, if you want to take flowers anyway, I guess there's no law against it. But I don't have to unless it's a risky affair. That's the general idea. Flowers for a prom or a very special party. Otherwise, you don't need to. Hey, I'll have to run. Me too. Hey. I'm going.
All right.
Look at that carny. Good Lord.
But when you're having so much fun, time goes all too fast. Well, it's the time Aunt had set for getting home. And now, good night. The end of a perfect evening. But how do you say good night?
Good night. Good night.
Perhaps.
There you go. No, that's not going to work.
What am?
Fresh. Dumbass. Let's try that again.
Or it could go this way.
Well, so long.
Yeah, that's the way you do it. Bye.
Just like that. After all, a girl likes to know you've had a
Idiot.
good time. So let's try saying goodnight again. One more way.
Well, it's getting late.
Yes, it is. I'd ask you in for a bite to eat if it weren't so late. Let's try to get home in time for a sandwich or something next time.
Say, that sounds good. I'll call you next week.
Will you? Well, thanks so much. I had loads of fun.
So did I.
Good night, Woody.
Night, Ann.
Now, I wonder what he's going to do when he gets home. Time to get my bottle of lotion out. Well, all right. Let me get back on screen here with me. Hey. Well, did you pick up some good tips there, Jess?
Absolutely not. You could have just had a 3-second short that said use common sense.
They didn't have that back in those days, and I don't think they have it today either. So maybe these things are useful to some people. Let's see what Jonas says. Tell her you don't kiss on the first date. If she likes you, then she'll try to get you to break your rule. There you go. Oh, look here. Sir Clifton's in the house. WrestleMania 39 is over. Well, Sir Clifton, tell us what the results were real quick while we're still on the air here. Let's see. Gojatron says a bit overdressed for the carnival with hand-drawn signs. Well, back in those days, they wore suits and ties whenever they went out, even to the movies.
I was just taken aback by the way he bit into that hot dog, because he wasn't holding it up straight. He was like holding it this way and just.
Yeah, he did going to town on it, wasn't he?
Did they just invent hot dogs like the week before?
I don't know, but I think hot dogs were invented back around in the early 1900s, and if I'm not mistaken, the hot dog would be given to you piping hot with no bun, and people would have to toss them from hand to hand till they cooled off a little bit, and then try to eat them. And then they came up with the idea of putting them in a bun so they wouldn't burn your hand while you were trying to eat them. So things progress over time. So I guess the fine art of eating a hot dog may have progressed over time as well. I suppose. I just
don't think you just grab it and rip it like you're eating a piece of steak.
Yeah.
I want to go to Costco tomorrow and get one of their big dogs and just do that in front of people and see if they think I'm crazy.
I can guarantee you they probably will think there's something wrong with you. Let's see here. 39. Wow. I watched since I was 10. My kid grew up with it. I think I stopped watching WrestleMania at 25. I can't remember. I haven't watched WrestleMania in a couple of years. I don't even know who's popular anymore over there. I quit watching wrestling a long time ago. I used to like it back in the Attitude Era. Another good move is to ask her to guess where you're going to eat.
Yeah, I think that the rationale behind that is, hey, do you know where we're going tonight? And she'll say the place that she's thinking of, and then you just have to say, yes, that one. And let her kind of do it.
Slick. What's up, Zazel? Good to see you, man. I kind of got in on the end part of the show. You missed all the good stuff. See, I guess if she guesses a place with no enthusiasm, that's not it. If she guesses sounding excited, that is the place. How did you know? Absolutely. Let's see what Rolo says. The hot dog comes from Denmark, my Bill. You just inherited it into your culture like we did. Okay. Well, I know that they were originally kind of considered a sausage, and that's why they come in long strings. They still make those kind of hot dogs. I like them. My wife doesn't. They're usually red, and they come a little bit more spicy than the hot dogs that you just get in the package, which are kind of dull. Well, what you got going on tomorrow morning? You got a show going on tomorrow like you normally do there, Jess?
I don't have a show. I have a premiere at 9:30. It's just a compilation of hiking I did around Colorado. Just some pictures.
Sounds like a neat thing
tomorrow
to watch.
around
check in with
tomorrow around 3-ish or so. I'm not sure when, but tomorrow I'll be meeting Grindhead Jim in person. He's actually driving through.
Okay. All right. Let's see what happened. John Cena got beat. That's for the record books, right? John Cena has been beat since he started wrestling, right? He's unbeatable. So Austin Theory beat John Cena. The torch has been passed. Street Profits won the tag team showcase. Rhea Ripley beat Charlotte Flair to be champion. Trish, Lita, and Becky beat Damage Control, and Steph beat Logan. Cool. All right. And Miz had a match against Pat McPhee and lost. Sami Zayn and KO beat the Usos to be the tag champ. So there we have the WrestleMania results courtesy of Sir Clifton. Thank you, sir. And Badger, thank you for being on. If you want to stick around for a moment after the show's over, we'll say goodnight to each other in private. Jones said, I thought WrestleMania was Sunday. WrestleMania goes on 2 nights now, does it not? Didn't know any of them except Cena. Yeah. John Cena sucks. All right, everybody. It's been a good one. I think the show was pretty well tonight. I had a few hiccups, but I think it all went very well. And we'll see everybody next time.
Take care.
Have a good journey.
Special thanks to these supporters on Patreon. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like and subscribe and share the video.